Welcome to the Dark Docket, where Britain's hidden crimes and untold stories come to life. But tonight, we journey beyond the United Kingdom, to a quiet town in the American Midwest. A town that once felt safe, until one cold December night, when a 17-year-old girl vanished into the dark. Her name was Breana Rouhselang, and this is her story. Mishawaka, Indiana, December 8, 2018. Snow blanketed the quiet suburban streets. Christmas lights twinkled in windows. And inside a small warm house on East Battelle Street, a teenage girl laughed with her family. Breana Rouhselang, or Bree as her friends called her, was known for her smile. A smile that seemed to light up every room she entered. She was a cheerleader, a softball player, and a manager for the high school football team. She loved her school, her friends, and her small-town life. To those who knew her, Breana was sunshine, even in December. That night, Breana told her stepmother she was heading out to meet a friend, a boy from the football team. It wasn't unusual. She'd known him for a while. He was quiet, reserved, but their friendship had recently become complicated. His name was Aaron Trejo, and behind his calm demeanor, something darker was building. Hours passed. The Rouhselang home grew quiet, but Breana never came back. By morning, panic set in. Her stepmother called her phone. No answer. Friends hadn't seen her. No one knew where she was. The search began. Police, family, classmates, they all combed the snow-covered streets, calling her name. And then, just a few blocks from home, behind a restaurant dumpster, they found her. Breana was gone. Her life, stolen in the stillness of the night. The small town of Mishawaka would never be the same again. A cheerleader, a friend, a daughter, gone, just 2 weeks before Christmas. But as police began to unravel what had really happened that night, they uncovered a secret that shocked even the most experienced investigators. This was not a random act of violence. It was personal, cold, and calculated. December 9, 2018. The town of Mishawaka awoke under a gray sky. Snow had stopped falling, but the air carried something heavier than winter. Police had confirmed what everyone feared. The body found behind the restaurant was Breana Rouhselang. Detectives moved quickly. There were no signs of forced entry at her home. No evidence of robbery. Whoever had done this knew her. And soon, one name rose to the surface. Aaron Trejo, a 17-year-old high school football player. Breana's teammate, friend. And, as police would soon learn, something more. When detectives brought Aaron in for questioning, he appeared calm. Too calm. He spoke softly, answered each question. He said he hadn't seen Breana since the night before. But investigators had already checked his phone. They'd found messages. Messages that told a different story. Breana had been pregnant. And the baby was Aaron's. At first, she'd kept it a secret. But as weeks passed, she confided in him, hoping they could face it together. She was scared, but hopeful. She wanted to do the right thing. Aaron, however, saw it differently. He told police he felt trapped. He worried about his future, about football, college, his reputation. And so, he made a plan. Detectives leaned in. Aaron's voice dropped to a whisper. He admitted he'd met Breana that night, behind her house. He said she'd told him again about the pregnancy. And that's when, in his words, he got angry. He'd brought a knife. And when she turned to walk away, he attacked her. He left her body behind the restaurant, hidden under a plastic bag in snow. Then, he threw his phone and the knife into the river. It was a confession that left even seasoned detectives silent. When news of the confession reached the community, disbelief turned into heartbreak. Breana's friends couldn't understand how someone she'd trusted could take her life. Her teachers wept at her empty desk. The school's football team canceled their next game. And in a small living room decorated for Christmas, her family sat in silence, staring at the empty chair where Breana should have been. Her stepmother whispered through tears. She had her whole life ahead of her. The truth was out. But it brought no comfort. Because the question still haunted everyone. How could love turn into this? As the investigation turned toward the courts, the weight of Breana's final hours would now shift into a fight for justice. A fight her family would carry, one day at a time. December 10th, 2018. Just 2 days after Breana's body was discovered, Erin Trejo was charged with murder and feticide for taking both Breana's life and the life of the unborn child she carried. The courtroom in St. Joseph County filled quickly that morning. Reporters, students, family members, all gathered in stunned silence. Erin entered, wearing an orange jumpsuit, his head low. The boy who once threw touchdowns for his high school team now faced life behind bars. As his charges were read aloud, the room felt cold. Not because of the winter outside, but because of the unbearable truth that filled it. In court documents, Erin told investigators that he had planned everything in advance. He knew Breana was pregnant. He knew she wanted to keep the baby. And instead of help, he chose violence. Detectives said his confession was calm, matter-of-fact, as though he were describing something ordinary. When asked why, he said, "I took action. I took her life." Those 5 words echoed across every headline, shattering the hearts of all who had loved Breana. Breana's family sat through every hearing, every word, every image shown in court. Her stepmother later said, "I just wanted to scream, to ask why. But there's no answer that can make sense of this." Friends and classmates filled the courtroom during the sentencing. Some wore Breana's favorite color teal in her memory. As the prosecutor described the brutality of that night, many in the room couldn't hold back tears. Even the judge's voice trembled when he spoke of Breana's youth, her innocence. After months of legal proceedings, in January 2020, Erin Trejo was sentenced to 65 years in prison, 45 years for Breana's murder, and 20 for the unborn child's death. He will spend the rest of his life behind bars. For Breana's family, it wasn't victory, it was survival. Justice had been served, but it could never bring her back. Her stepmother said quietly outside the courthouse, "We forgive him, but we will never forget what he took from us." Today, the memory of Breana Rouhselang lives on through her family, friends, and classmates. Through every candle lit in her name, and every heart she touched in her short 17 years. She was kind. She was bright. She was loved. And though her story ended far too soon, her light continues. A reminder of how fragile life can be, and how important it is to protect it. Snow drifts quietly over Mishawaka. The night is still, almost too still. At the edge of the high school field, a small crowd gathers. Students, parents, teachers, each holding a candle against the winter wind. The glow flickers, soft and fragile, yet defiant. Among the silence, a single voice whispers, "She'll always be with us." The camera drifts upward, past the candles, past the faces until all that remains is the light. And Breana's smile, frozen in memory. Because even when the darkness feels endless, light, no matter how small, still finds its way through. And tonight, that light belongs to Breana Rouhselang. You've been watching the Dark Docket, where the world's hidden crimes and untold stories come to life. If this story moved you, please take a moment to like, comment, and share your thoughts below. Your support helps us continue uncovering the truth behind the shadows. Subscribe and stay with us as we turn another page in the world of true crime and reveal the secrets that time tried to bury. Thank you for watching.